Welcome to 1984. That was my last V podcast, episode 29, and now I come to episode 30. And I want to keep this mood. I think actually 1984 isn't written very eloquently. Of course, it's not really a novel. It's more like a program for the elite or whoever is in power. Create this slave state, this global slave system. And a similar kind of dystopia or paranormal future can be read in the many ingenious works by science fiction writer and visionary Philip K. Dick. And I'll start. I think I'll focus on his works, and we'll read many beginnings of his great precognitive works. So many of his books were already made into Hollywood movies, but I recommend you read them, the original one, because the characters aren't anything like Harrison Ford, Tom Cruise, or Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, the protagonist is always a normal dude who's in this strange world like we're in at the moment, and weird things happen. Let's listen. So, first work is called, the title is called Lies, Inc. by Philip K. Dick. Chapter 1. The sub-info computers owned by Lies Incorporated had been caught in an unnatural act by a service mechanic. Sub-info computer 5 had transmitted information which was not a lie. It would have to be taken apart to see why, and to whom the correct information had gone. Probably there would be no way to discern to whom the correct information had gone. But a carrier check maintained an automatic record of all sub-information transmitted by the bank of computers located here and there on Terra. The information had to do with a rat. According to the carrier check, the rat lived with a colony of other rats in a garbage dump in Oakland, California. What importance could information dealing with a rat have? Louis Stein, the chief mechanic for Lies Incorporated, pondered this as he broke the flow of current to sub-info computer 5 and prepared to begin taking it apart. Of course, he could ask the computer, but the computer, being programmed to lie, would of course lie, even to Lies Incorporated itself. That was an irony which Stein did not appreciate. This problem always surfaced when it came time to dismantle one of the computers. Any other bank of computers, Stein thought, could be asked. Just for a moment, he restored power to sub-info computer 5 and punched buttons on the console of a terminal. Whom did you transmit to? He asked. Ben Applebaum, Rackmal. Fine, Stein said. At least he knew that. Somebody on Terra with the name Rackmal Ben Applebaum probably now knew more about rats than he cared to know, albeit on a subliminal basis. You're probably thinking a lot about rats these days, Mr. Ben Applebaum, Stein said to himself. And you are wondering why. Again, he cut the power to the computer and began to go to work. Standing before his bathroom mirror, shaving, Rackmel Ben Applebaum thought about the delicious taste of cheeseburger fragments. Not a whole cheeseburger, you rarely found those, but the wonderful dried bits lying here and there among the coffee grounds, grapefruit rinds and eggshells. I'll fly over to Bob's Big Boy, he decided, and order a cheeseburger for breakfast. And then he thought, it's those damn dreams. Actually, it was one dream over and over again. He always had it around 3 a.m. Several times he had awakened, gotten out of bed, bewildered and distributed by the intensity of the dream. Oh, and disturbed by the intensity of the dream. And noted the clock. The place he dreamed of, it was awful. And yet, for some reason, while he was actually there, actually dreaming, the place seemed great. And this was the part that bothered him the most, that he liked it so. It seemed familiar. It seemed to be a place he regarded as home. However, so did a number of other people. People, they hadn't looked exactly like people, although they had talked like people. That's mine, Fred said, holding on to an armload of dog kibble. The hell you say, Rackmel said angrily. I saw it first. Give it here or I'll pop you. He and Fred fought over the armload of dog kibble, and Rackmel finally won. But he won in an odd way, by biting Fred on the shoulder. He hadn't hit him, he had bitten him. Strange, Rackmel thought as he continued to shave. I'm going to have to see a psychiatrist, he said to himself. Maybe it's memories of a former life, millions of years ago, before I had evolved into a human being, far lower on the evolutionary scale, biting people, or rather biting animals. Yes, he thought, Fred was an animal of some kind, but we talked English. In his dream, he kept a secret hoard of valuables which the others in the settlement knew nothing about. He thought of them now, those precious artifacts which he cherished, which he had gone to such lengths and effort to acquire. Mostly food, of course. Nothing was more important than food. And yet, you could sometimes find string. He had a lot of string. Fine brown string. He had wound it up into a heap, and during the day he slept in the midst of it. The pile of string comforted him. It lulled him and made his dream peaceful. All but one. There at the settlement, asleep during the day in his pile of string, he had one dreadful dream which kept coming back. It had to do with a huge fish opening its mouth wide, and vast ugly teeth strove to crunch him with an avid relish. Geez, Rackmel said, maybe I'm not here shaving. Maybe I'm just dreaming this. Maybe I'm asleep in my pile of string and having a good dream. Not the bad one. Having the dream where he thought, a man. So then, by inference, he thought, I'm not a man when I'm at the settlement. That would explain why I bit and why Fred bit. That son of a bitch, he said to himself. He knows where a lot of dog kibble is, and he won't tell any of the rest of us. I'll find it. I'll find his trove. But then he realized while I'm out doing that, maybe Fred or someone else will find my trove and take away my string. My wonderful string, which was so hard to drag back to my hiding place. It kept snagging and catching on things. I'll defend that string with my life, Rackmel said to himself. Any son of a bitch who tries to steal it will wind up without his face. He looked at his wristwatch. Got to hurry, he said to himself. It's late. I overslept again, and I can't get the dream out of my head. It was too vivid for a dream. It wasn't a dream. Maybe it was involuntary telepathy of some kind, or contact with an alternate universe. That's probably what it was. Another Earth on which I was born as an animal rather than a human being. Or a microwave transmission, using my brain as a transducer without an electronic interface. They have those, especially the police agencies. He was very much afraid of the worldwide police agencies, especially Lies Incorporated, the worst police agency of them all. Even the Soviet police were afraid of them. They're beaming psychotronic signals at me subliminally while I'm asleep, he thought. And then he realized how paranoid that was. Christ, no sane person would think that. And even if Lies Incorporated did transmit microwave boosted telepathic information to him in his sleep, would it have to do with rats?